For the last few nights, I haven't been afraid of nightmares. I've been afraid of what might happen while I'm awake. The man I once fell in love with is no longer the person I thought I knew, and the scariest part is this: he still has the key to my life, even after I locked him out. My name is Olivia, and this is how my love story turned into a real-life horror. Hello, my name is Olivia. For the past few days, I haven't been able to sleep. Not because I can't fall asleep, but because I no longer feel safe closing my eyes. I guess it wouldn't sit well with you either if someone you thought you knew suddenly turned into a character from a horror movie. A few weeks ago, my boyfriend Owen and I broke up. At least in the beginning, it wasn't an unusual breakup. We'd been together for 10 months. At first, he was very attentive, sweet, and warm. Like most young couples, we were constantly messaging, video calling. We slept in the same house, holding each other through the night. Sometimes we were romantic, sometimes we spent time like childish teenagers. I really thought I was falling in love. My heart was fluttering. But it didn't take long for him to turn into someone possessive. If I didn't reply to his messages quickly, he would get angry. During the day, he started questioning me about strange things, whether I smiled at anyone, whether I spoke to any man. He would show up at my workplace unannounced and watch me from a distance. On nights when I went out with my girlfriends, he would even come to the places we went and then force me to leave with him. This made my friends sick to their stomachs. Some of them even started to hate him. It was like he had no trust in me at all. I kept the relationship going until the moment he wanted to install an app on my phone so he could track me at any time. That was the last straw for me. When I first told him it was over, his eyes filled with tears and he just froze. His face was expressionless, empty. At our last meeting, I felt an unexplainable tension inside me. It was a disgusting feeling. For a short while, everything seemed normal. I blocked his number and tried to move on with my life. I tried to make time for myself. I went on walks, spent time with friends. I wanted to feel a little free. Unfortunately, things didn't continue in that routine. I started receiving strange messages, not from Owen, or at least not directly. They were from unknown numbers, short messages, meaningless, just a single sentence or even a single word. I never replied. If this was spam, ignoring it was the best way to get rid of it. I blocked all the numbers. I even mentioned it to my friends at one point. I kept telling myself it was probably just a scam or a spam bot. I always receive spam messages anyway. Later, the messages stopped being anonymous. One night, I was lying in my bed. I got up to go to the bathroom and stepped into the hallway outside my bedroom. Before entering the bathroom, I heard some noises coming from one of the lower floors. A fragile girl wouldn't go to check that sound. And I am one of those girls. I don't like the dark, and that's one of the reasons I don't enjoy being alone. I always had someone with me, either a friend or someone like Owen or another fling. I didn't go downstairs to check. I convinced myself stubbornly that it was just a normal sound, maybe from the house appliances or the wind, something like that. I had been living in this apartment for a long time, and I spent most of that time with my ex-boyfriend Henry, and the rest with Owen. I was almost never alone. That strange sound had scared me. After I finished in the bathroom, I rushed back into my room and crawled under my blanket, which I believe could protect me even from a nuclear bomb. I grabbed my pillow and hugged it tightly, whether out of habit or because I had been alone for so long, I don't know. Hugging it the way I once hugged my former lovers. Another night, close to midnight, I woke up to a sound coming from my apartment door. I was certain, terribly certain, that my door had been opened, even though I didn't want to believe it. I tried to comfort myself by thinking it was just a dream. Still, my heart was racing. I texted the family group chat with my parents and siblings. I've been hearing noises almost every night. I'm starting to get scared. No one replied at that hour. I closed my eyes and tried to fall back asleep. That weekend, I stayed at a friend's place. When I came back, I could have sworn that someone had been inside my apartment, but I couldn't prove it. It may sound exaggerated, but it isn't. I have a habit from childhood of always leaving doors closed when I leave home. Every single door was wide open. I walked slowly through the apartment, checking every room. When I saw that my closet in the hallway was also open, I froze in shock. The pounding in my temples, the trembling in my hands. I knew that something was very wrong. This was not normal. I always keep that closet door closed. Even if I left it open, the hinge would pull it shut by itself. I stood there for a short moment that felt endlessly long. Then I slowly moved closer and looked inside. Everything was exactly where it should be. My shoes, my umbrella, my coat, just as always. That night, I built a barricade in front of my door. I took a bread knife from the kitchen and placed it under my pillow. A rapid transformation from a fragile girl to Rambo. But I would soon learn that being Rambo wasn't for me. I left the lamp I used for reading turned on. I don't remember when I fell asleep or how long I slept, but I clearly remember the heavy, dragging, rustling footsteps that woke me up. Through my sleepy eyes, I saw that my bedroom door was open in the darkness. Fear, shock, anxiety, terror. I struggled to describe my emotions. How had this happened? I hadn't yet recovered from the shock. My mind kept asking how the door had opened. I wanted to believe that maybe I had gotten up to go to the bathroom, opened it myself, and simply didn't remember. But my brain answered every one of my excuses with logic, pushing me deeper into terror, and then I saw it! Someone sitting cross-legged in the corner of my room on the dark floor. In that moment, I completely lost myself. I started screaming at the top of my lungs, and instantly I recognized Owen's voice. He was telling me to calm down. When I kept screaming, he jumped on top of me, pinned me down with his legs, grabbed me, and covered my mouth tightly with his hand. He told me he hadn't come to hurt me. He only wanted to talk. He didn't get off me or remove his hand from my mouth until I was too exhausted to struggle anymore. When I finally calmed down a little, he slowly removed his hand and got off me. I don't even remember the first question I asked him. But when I asked how he had entered my apartment, he said he had copied one of our keys. Only for emergencies, he added. It had never crossed my mind to change my locks. I never imagined he was capable of something like this. For a brief moment, I wanted to stab him, but I had just learned minutes earlier that being Rambo wasn't my strength. He kept repeating that he hadn't come to hurt me, that he missed me terribly, that he was emotionally attached to me. He stroked my hair, held my arm. He almost begged me to get back together with him. But his eyes were roaming over my body like a predator. At that moment, I didn't have the courage to say no. I said yes. I was deeply shaken and terrified. I told him that I needed to be alone that night and managed to get him out of my apartment. The very first thing I did after he left was call the police. While waiting for them, the thought that he might still be nearby gnawed at me from the inside. The police arrived and I told them everything. A report was filed, which I later used to obtain a restraining order against Owen. Even though I couldn't prove that he had entered my home, there were enough people to support my claims. With the help of a lawyer, we traced the unknown messages, and it was officially proven that he was the one who had sent them. After staying with my family for a while, I had to change my home, my job, my entire city. My advice to everyone, men or women, is this. If you notice any signs of mental instability in the person you are with, you should seriously consider leaving as soon as possible for your own safety. I still wake up in the middle of the night, reaching under my pillow, with a sudden jolt. They say the past should stay in the past, but sometimes the past learns how to unlock your door. I survived, I escaped, and I rebuilt my life, but the fear still wakes up with me. If you ever feel watched, controlled, or unsafe, don't wait, because sometimes leaving late is more dangerous than leaving early.